Okay, I just put these tights on. I love these. Waisted pants, these are the new ones.
I'm a paid customer with Talla. I am obsessed with their leggings.
It's Talla Ansari, and if you don't know, we have an activewear brand called Talla.
And we have Australia's favourite leggings, but not only do we have leggings,
We've got everything that you may need for an active lifestyle. So we want to give you guys an offer if you've never shopped at Talla, or if you've shopped at Talla
and you just want $15 off your next order,
you need to take this offer.
and it's TL Cherry, all caps, all one word. Pop that in at checkout and you will get $15 off.
So head to our website, it's www.tallylu.com, or head to our Instagram, stalk our page, use the code, and let's get you all in some TL. Welcome to Curious Conversations. It's Talla and Sarah. Welcome to our business mini series where we sit down and talk real, raw, honest with some incredible business owners.
We're going beyond the highlight reel to talk about what it really takes to start a business from the ground up. The challenges, the wins, and the lessons that no one prepares you for.
Welcome to Curious Conversations with Talla and Sarah.
We sit down and chat with business owners, entrepreneurs, and some of the best conversation starters.
This is a podcast about real life lessons and people doing cool shit.
So we're supposed to intro our guest on what they do and how we know them. Talla.
Well, what I do and how we know each other is the same.
I know, but I would like to describe you as one of my best friends. That's how I
don't want to start crying.
My friends all know you as the rug lady.
The rug lady.
Yeah, I get
Affectionately known as the rug lady or your rug friend.
Your rug. I am your rug friend. I'm both your rug friends.
Yeah, you are.
And I met you through Talla.
I literally have your rug in my lounge room as we speak.
It's literally how we met as well.
Yeah, literally. So can you just give us a little rundown of what you currently do for your business now? Because I really want to get into previous before you did the rugs.
Yep.
But I know rugs are in your family as well. But can you just give us a little rundown of what you do now?
Okay, so me and my brother run Four Corners Rugs, which is how I kind of met you guys. I would say we're a family business, so Mum has her own rug store to this day. But when we started off Four Corners, we didn't want to kind of tarnish what she was doing. We wanted to experiment a little bit with the fibers, the composition, the designs of the rugs, and make them a bit more affordable. Because rugs take such a long time to make. So some of them are like handmade, New Zealand wool, silk, like hand dyed, all this incredible work goes into it, but not everyone can afford that. So me and my brother wanted to just experiment with different compositions, different rug making techniques, and have a bit of fun while we were doing it. And we just didn't want to tarnish, our single mum's brand that's put us through schooling and everything else just by virtue of us having a bit of a play. And then that play kind of turned into something pretty epic, and we have a pretty cool brand now, and we're just growing and growing. So yeah, we kind of do rugs, but I'd say somewhere between, like, when I say affordable, it's like lower budget to mid-range, I would say. So we still do the handmade rugs, but we also focus on just modern, everyday, affordable luxury sort of pieces that don't break the bank.
Yeah. Going back, you said your mum's in the rug business. Do you think your mum having a business inspired you and your brother to start your own business?
100%. My story's a little bit different to my brother's. So my brother's always worked with mum.
Okay.
So he did uni part-time with mum, then after uni full-time with mum. So he's always been in the rug trade. I, on the other hand, went off and became a lawyer. So very different. I was like, I don't want to work in the family business. I want to do my own thing. Yeah. And then 6 years ago, I'm just like, hey guys, I want in on the gang.
Yeah. What made you actually leave that corporate world though and pursue a business? Because there would be many people thinking like, shit, how do you actually take those steps?
Look, I have to put my hand up and say, going back to Tully's question, had Mum not had the business, would I have had the confidence to take the leap? I don't know, if I'm being perfectly honest, because there's a lot of risk in it. There's a lot of risk to quit your job, and I wasn't doing this on the side to begin with and then went off and grew it. I literally took a giant leap of faith, quit corporate, went straight into rugs. So with Mum's business comes the confidence of we already have a head start on who the manufacturers are. We already know the knowledge. Like I grew up grew up in rug shops. So after school, we were always there with mum. On weekends, we were always there with mum. So the knowledge was already there. And then we had the contacts to start somewhere without having to figure everything out on our own. So 100% it helped. But I was ready to leave law because I was experiencing burnout in the corporate industry. And if I'm being really honest, I loved the people. I loved my colleagues. I loved my bosses throughout the years. So if they do watch this, I'm not hating on anyone. I genuinely loved the job, but I think I loved it because of the people and not the law. Yeah. So when push came to shove and I started getting really unwell from burnout and stress and I got really sick, I had to kind of decide, if I just change where I'm at, or if I change the area I was in, or if I change law firms, will that fix the problem, or am I the problem? And I think I just realized that I'm not cut out. I don't love the law. I love everything that came with it, like my clients and helping them, or my colleagues and helping the juniors, because I got to that stage where I could pass on some knowledge. It had nothing to do with the black letter law. And I thought, okay, let's jump ship, try something else. And then I've always got that as a background, like a fallback. But I never used it.
Did you literally jump from corporate into starting your business with your brother straight away?
Yeah.
Wow.
To the point where our shop was a brand new shop and it was delayed. So I had no income, nothing to do. Like it was just, I didn't even know what products we had. So I couldn't even start the website. There's no photos to put on the website. I literally stopped corporate, got delayed moving into the shop, have no online presence. Like I can't do anything. Yeah. So I was just sitting for the shop to be completed so we could move in.
What year was that?
For 2019.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
With a business like that, say you've got a storefront, you need to put up the capital for the rugs. Where do you go for that initial investment?
Well, so there's a couple of ways you can do it if you're lucky enough and have mum and dad.
Yeah.
Not so much for the capital. So we didn't ask for money. I borrowed stock, so on consignment. So that was different. So I took some stock from mum. And then mum, my brother and I did a trip to Germany at the beginning of 2019 to a big rug expo in Germany. And we met with some of the manufacturers, introduced ourselves to mum's existing manufacturers and some new ones, figured out who we wanted to work with and place some small orders. So it wasn't a huge investment. And then, borrowed essentially. So on consignment. So as I sold something of mum's, I'd pay her back, use the rest. And you just
use that to cover, like, say, your rent and things like that?
Yeah. Yeah. So you just work incrementally. But that's why I'm saying I don't think it takes a lot of bravery and courage to go from quitting something you've always known to starting something new.
Stability.
Especially with the scale of what we had to do. Yes, I've only got one shop, but I've got a shit ton of stock.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have been able to afford it had I not had, obviously, the family business. The other thing you can do is, by that stage, I already had my own apartment. So worst case scenario, I could have remortgaged or done something like that and put in my personal capital because I genuinely had this amazing vision about it. So we could have done it that way, but we were lucky we didn't have to.
Are you comfortable with that risk? Because that's a conversation we've had with other guests, is a lot of people aren't comfortable with putting up that risk and that capital and that investment.
Well, then you don't do business. It's not for everyone. It's literally, there's a saying, it's the price of doing business.
Yep.
Got to get the fucking money from somewhere.
Yeah. And they were saying before, and we say it's like you have to invest in to make more, because if you don't invest, you're not going to have stock.
So spend money to make money.
And I get it. It's easier for me to say it because I wasn't in that situation. So a lot of people will be like, oh, well, I don't care what she says because she didn't do it that way. I was willing to do it. That's the difference. I was willing to do it because I had a vision and I wanted to give this a crack, and not every business works. So that was the risk I was willing to take. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Were you scared at all though? Like going from like a stable job, like I don't know, the burnout and stuff, but was there any kind of scare? Like
I had no idea what I was doing. Yeah. So I think it more came down to ego.
Yeah. I think a lot of people, when they're starting out, I had no idea what I was doing.
I still don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Like
we learn every day, literally.
So we're in a growth phase at the moment, and I can't sit here and tell you I know exactly what I'm doing. If I did, I'd be the worst business person in the room.
Yeah. Yeah.
You never have that point of arrival, really. You should always be bettering yourself. You should always be learning.
Maybe that's the secret sauce to success in business, is owning risk and being curious.
I think being curious is the main thing.
Yeah.
Risk, Well, my risk appetite is a little bit different to my brother's.
But here you're saying that you started and you would have borrowed money. So your risk appetite has to be high.
I think as you get more in the
it's
business,
calculated risk.
Yeah.
So I wasn't going into a new idea in an industry that I had no idea about and a product I've never dealt with before. That to me is not a good risk. That's very high risk, not something I would have an appetite for. Investing money in a different variation of a family business that we have some contacts in already. Of course I would have, completely different. It's a medium risk. It might work, it might not, but I've got some knowledge backing me. Mm-hmm. Of course I would have taken that risk.
So you launched in 2019 and obviously COVID happened in 2020. You close up. How did you get through being a retail store with COVID?
Oh, yeah.
And also being new in your business?
We were lucky because we started off, when we opened doors, we already had e-commerce. We always knew that was something that was different from our store versus mum's store. Yeah. So mum has a lot of one-off pieces that it just doesn't make sense to have an e-commerce arm to it. So very different game. So we always started off with e-commerce. So we weren't one of the businesses that got locked down in Melbourne for a total of 9 months. It wasn't consecutive, but I think on total it was around 9 months, spanning 2 years, where we had to rejig our whole business model. Like that just wasn't where we were at. We had e-com already. So it wasn't horrible. Obviously it wasn't ideal, but the thing that started really annoying me was the second year. Mm-hmm. The second year, this like 7th round of lockdowns or whatever we were up to, it started really pissing me off purely because I couldn't get stock in. When I did get stock in, photo shoots were illegal. Yeah. You couldn't hire people. You couldn't do this. You couldn't do that. It was click and collect only, which is fine. But how can I do a click and collect sale if I don't have a bloody photo of my rug on the website?
Yeah.
So then my website was covered in iPhone photos. And then we come out of all the lockdowns, and my first thing is not to just recoup 2 years of losses. It's to go in and be like, I need to clean up my website. Yeah. My social media is really crap. My website looks really crap because there's iPhone photos everywhere. That's how I survived for a majority of 2 years. Mm-hmm. So you have to do the branding and the rejigging of all of that whilst still trying to make more sales, whilst everyone is obviously struggling. It was hard, but I think having e-commerce is what was our saving grace.
Yeah. And how do you've said you've worked with your brother. How do you work alongside your brother? Because it's the family dynamic. It's like, what's your strength? We had the girls on before from Miss Frankie, and they were talking about, you know, she's really good at numbers. She's really good. And we find that too. We've got our strengths. Yeah. What's your strengths and what's your brother's, and how do you guys work together?
So Ari and I actually work really well together. I have to say the one thing, obviously words have power, so cancelling this straight after, but heaven forbid if something happened to our business and it no longer stood tomorrow, the biggest thing I got out of it is my relationship with my brother.
Well, that's sweet.
Like, we're friends now. Not that we've always loved each other and we've always had a really close connection, but I now know how his brain works in a friend capacity, which is just invaluable. And I admire so many things about him, which are the things that lack in me. So today we had a session with our business growth strategist. So again, I don't know everything. You still need to keep learning. But it was really interesting how he sees how things work in a very logical, pragmatic way. And I'm so opportunistic that I was like, yeah, but like we can still go for this, and I need this, and this is how I work best. We have to just make it work. No's not an answer. And he just sees things so logically. So that's why he kind of does all the operational stuff, and I do the creative and all the things you see online. That's all me, because that's what I enjoy. And I also work differently. So today was one of those more heated conversations because I was like, I just can't sit in the store 6 days a week and expect to get my admin done while I'm customer facing. My brain just doesn't work that way. It could be the corporate training. I don't know. When I'm laser focused and I'm on my computer, I don't need to move to pee. I don't need a drink of water. I don't need anything. I just sit and I just go straight into it. And some of those, I miss those days. I know it sounds really unhealthy, but I just love starting my day with this huge to-do list, done nothing. And then by the end of the day, I look back and be like, whoa, I just made that email flow and it looks amazing and there's not a typo and it looks really cool and I can't wait to send it to my client. I need that self-validation. It makes me feel like I'm successful. And on days where everything's just like stop, start, because a customer walks in, the phone rings, something happens, you got to respond to this email. I don't get that. So I work really differently. So I need that. Whereas my brother's just like, he can do everything anywhere. He's
multitask.
Yeah, which you'd expect the opposite.
Yeah,
you'd expect him to. Yeah, no, he's great. He's very patient, whereas I'm not. So I don't like being interrupted when I've got a train of thought. Whereas he's just like, I'll do this and then I'll do that. I'll do this, then I'll attend to that. Whereas I'm just like, leave me alone. Customer walks in, hi, how are you? I'm like, yeah. And that's so horrible just because I was in the middle of something. So you just have to put your hand up as well and say, hey, this is how I like to work, which is what I had to talk about today. And he's like, I don't know if it's practical with where we're going and how busy we are. And I'm like, I don't care.
Yeah.
We need to make it work. And bless his cotton socks, we make a workaround for each other. And because I get what I want, I'm like, how can I give you what you want so it's fair? And that's what we're really good at. Like one person doesn't necessarily take more than the other, even though I think I do. Then I try and be fair.
You say you're in a growth phase. What's been your biggest lesson about growing and scaling?
Oh, everything that I hate is actually really important.
What do you hate?
I hate the data. I hate the analytics. I just don't like looking at it. But now that I'm getting to understand it more and more, it's also fueling me at the same time. So the thing I hated so much is now driving me. I think I told you we made budget. Well, we now have budgets. We never used to. We just knew if we were tracking good, not good enough, great-ish. But now we're just like, we've got all the data to back it. And I was just like, oh, shit, it's kind of addictive. I'm like, okay, next goal, next budget, let's keep going.
That data invaluable when it comes to building and scaling a profitable business. That's what you're saying?
Well, you don't know if you're profitable unless you know your numbers.
Yeah. You don't know what you don't know.
You don't know, but I was running a business for a few years thinking I understood some of the money. I knew that we weren't great in some years, but I didn't know to the detail of how I could turn every cent around. And once you understand that, that's where the growth comes. You're like, whoa, this is where there's the gaping hole. This is where we're really excellent. And then you just use that data you can propel yourself really, really quickly.
Yeah.
Really quickly. So I'd say understanding your data is the main thing. And if you don't get it, get advice.
Yeah.
I didn't get it. I still don't get it. I'm still learning. You just need advice.
That's the common theme with people in business. It's the mentality to keep learning. You're never going to know it all.
No, and someone's done it before you. Someone's done it for longer than you. There's this resistance, because I felt it too, that just because my mum's been doing it for 36 years, we're like, oh, but it's a different time now. That's so much knowledge there. Like that you can still bring across. Maybe the way we sell products is a bit different. Maybe the things we're doing she doesn't understand, but she still understands the numbers. She still understands everything else that I don't quite like looking at. So there's always someone who's been ahead of you. There's someone who's been doing it longer than you, someone who's more successful than you. You can always learn.
Yeah.
Where do you see the opportunities for your business now?
Oh, online for sure.
Yeah.
So our lowest hanging fruit is we've got a really cool brand, but we haven't been utilizing the social media, paid social media, I should say, so the ad side of things as robustly as we could. And that is the lowest hanging fruit, because if you make more online sales, you've got less overheads. It just gets to more people. You can reach more people. So we obviously sell nationwide and we've got heaps of clients all around Australia. And there's a need for our product because we're an affordable rug, and not every rug store does that. And if they do, the quality might not be there. So there's definitely a need for my product in more than just Melbourne. And I'd love to service that, but I'm not using those platforms properly. So the lowest hanging fruit would be, for me as a business owner, selling online has less overheads. So obviously I can then market my product even cheaper. Like we pass it on. We're not greedy. If I can sell something cheaper, then I will. It benefits my consumers, and then they're happy, and then they tell a mate. That's kind of how we run our business. But if I can do that and maximize more online sales, then I can have a really cool business where I'm selling things that I'm really proud of at the price point. But then once we get more money from that too, we can then invest maybe in more locations and stuff. So a lot of people like the tactile element, walking into a showroom, doing all of that, and we get that. But that's why we invest heaps of stuff online. Like we've got the AR tech, put it in your phone, look it in your room live. Do you like the color scheme with it? If not, change the rug, have a look. So we invest to make it super easy for people. But I'd say maximizing your online sales for any business, whether you're brick and mortar or just e-com, that's where that's where the scale for us is starting.
Yeah.
We've always been online, but now we want to be even
more
online. Yeah. Absolutely.
Get to more people.
Yeah.
That's what we always say. How can you get to more people?
Yeah. That is true.
One thing you're really good at is branding.
Oh, yeah.
What's the secret sauce to branding?
I think there's two things. One would be technical and one would be more woo-woo. So me loving woo-woo. I think you just need to be really authentic and understand what you're trying to do. So if you're trying to be a really cool brand without a face on it, which is not who we are, then you need to just go for that. You just need to go for it, get all the cool imagery, be really like avant-garde, just fucking go for it. If you are a service provider, for instance, or if you have a face to your brand, then you need to show up that in a way that's authentic to you. Otherwise, you're going to resent that brand. You're going to resent showing up. You're going to resent creating content for it. You're going to resent how the website looks if it's not true to who you are.
Yeah.
So I would say figure out your values, and then for the business, not your personal ones, and then just go with it. The technical side is before I start any website, any email marketing campaign, anything, or anytime I rebrand something, I know my fonts, I know my font names, I know the colors I use, I have the color codes for everything. Every email, every website, every touch point you have with my brand will use the same colors, will use the same font design, will use the same consistency and tone of voice. And all of that creates trust in the market, I believe, in the brand. They're like, oh yeah, I know that, that color scheme is Four Corners Rugs. I know that they're super approachable, friendly, laid back. That's their tone of voice. I know that they're super knowledgeable about what they do because they've grown up in rug stores. Cool. Like we know that about them. That's my brand.
Yeah.
We know that they're quality rugs, but at valuable prices. Like we get that we're not getting taken for a ride. Like all of that is part of my brand, and it's on every touch point you see. So just pick something. You don't have to be like, oh, look at me, I'm the founder of this. You don't have to. You can have like a brand, no one knows like the day-to-day life of this CEO of Nike.
Yeah.
So if you want that kind of brand, then go for it.
What about if someone is coming, I'm going to talk about the rugs themselves now, the merchandise. Yeah. If someone is after a rug, what qualities should they look in a rug, and how should you style a rug? Because I know there's like a specific, like should it be under the couch? Should it be all the way under the couch? Should it be I know there's like specific ways that.
There's rules of thumb, and then there's people who just like doing their own thing. But my biggest thing is functionality. So twofold, I don't want returns because pain in the ass.
Yeah, no way.
But equally, I don't want unhappy customers. So for me, functionality is key. So you have to have a think about, do I want a white rug because I saw this influencer have it? Cool. If you've got 3 kids, 2 dogs and a cat, fuck no, you don't need a white rug. If you do, it might be in your bedroom. Like think of things logically, or give us the information so we can guide you. Say, for instance, you want that white rug. Let's do it in a fiber, at least that's easy to clean. Let's do it in a type of weave that's not going to get clawed out by your cat and get ruined within 2 days. So just have a think of your functionality. Like, do I have kids? Do I have pets? And what size do I need? How big do we need to go? And then the rest we can kind of educate you on. So polyester and wool, easiest fibers to clean. Polyester is more machine-made rugs. Wool is more handmade rugs. All very boring, but just read the product descriptions because we put all of that in there for you. We're like suitable for all rooms, or suitable just for the bedroom, or easy to clean, not easy to clean. Like we'll give you all of that. Yeah. But you need to be self-aware in what you're purchasing. So many people love a white boucle couch. So many people have kids. Yeah. So many people need to replace them in 2 years. Yeah. If you have the budget for it, awesome. If you don't, get a fiber that's easy to clean. Yeah. Like that, it's just things like that logical for what you wear with what you put in your couch, what you pick for other places in your home. It still applies to rugs. As for placement, I personally like having it under the couch. but it can just be the front legs. It's a practical thing. It anchors the rug down so it doesn't move. If you have a coffee table and the front legs of a couch, they're both pretty heavy items. That rug's not going anywhere. And then it just makes the room feel like a zone because the rug's bigger. When you have something in the center of the room, it itemizes everything. So you walk in and you're like, oh, there's the couch, there's the coffee table, there's the rug, there's the lamp. Everything feels a bit like its own thing. You have one big rug. It touches all the furniture. It doesn't have to go completely under. You've got a zone and it just feels like a home.
Yeah.
So
like
those
cozy.
Cozy, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be my tip. Functionality and get the right size. It'll make a huge difference.
How do you design a rug? Like, do you sit there, like how Tully will sit there and design things?
Yeah.
Do you, on Illustrator, think, I want this pattern through a rug?
Yes and no. There's so we've got rug manufacturers who make designs for us and they'll say, do you like this? Do you like that? We're like, yeah, we like this texture, change the colour. So that's part of it. And then we get exclusivity on those designs. Or we do send people what we want. But the sampling process in that, as you would probably know, takes so long. We're like, cool, the colour's not quite right, but the texture's good. Or the texture's really not what I wanted, but the colour's great. But the second you change the texture, the colour jumps.
Yeah.
So it takes a long time. But interestingly enough, a lot of wallpapers and fabrics are what's used to inspire rug designs.
Oh, wow.
Really?
Yeah, so you can take like a section of like a wallpaper or a fabric traditionally and blow it up and then it becomes a really cool rug design. So there's inspiration everywhere you go. It's not necessarily copying, but it's really cool when you blow up a little part of something else and then you're like, oh, I like how that's really moody, or I like how that blends with this other color. And on scale, when you blow things up, it becomes more of a modern rug design, I find. So
interesting.
Yeah.
You're surrounded by successful people when it comes to business. What do you think?
Yourself included.
Thank you. And Tully Louise. What do you think the common denominator is between those people when it comes to work and business?
I think everyone's really honest. I don't think anyone in my circle is afraid to help out a mate or to talk truthfully about when they're in their highs or their lows, or about even financial matters. I remember in law it was so taboo to ask people what they were on just for your salary. And I'm like, it can't be that vastly different. We'd all be, $10,000 off each other. But it was such a rude, unless it's your best friend, you didn't know what they were on. But it's really surprising in my circle now, all the business owners are just like, oh yeah, this, you should do this. It only cost me $20,000. Or I made this much of a loss last year, but I've made up for it this way. This has really helped me. Maybe you want to give it a crack. Everyone's just been super honest and willing to help each other. I think when you've got someone not that I do, but if you have someone in your circle who's not willing to help out another business owner, they could be successful today. I'm very interested to see how far they will go because I think there's enough business for everyone to succeed. And if you're that greedy, you're not the kind of person I want to be sharing about my life as well. Yeah. You're not the person I want to go to for advice. There's always something tainting how you see me because you're comparing yourself to me. Like, it's just not the people I keep around.
Yeah.
So all the successful people in my life are really open, honest, and willing to help out a mate, which I think is really important.
We were talking about that before with the other podcast, just surrounding yourself around the right people, like good people. We're all a little bit woo-woo, so it's like having those good people around you, good energy, good vibes is going to radiate and bring in good. But that comes
naturally. Yeah. If you're like, we're all woo-woo, so whatever you're putting out in terms of energy, you're going to receive that.
Absolutely.
And you'll feel straight away if something's off. Someone will show you something about themselves or something will happen. You'll be like, oh, that gave me the ick. That's not your person. If you're in a downturn and someone shows up for you, like you introduced me to Harrison, when I was in a moment where I was like, I need to grow, but I don't know what to do next. Yeah. That showed me like, wow, this is a good person to have in my circle. Not because I'm getting help from them, but it's just like it's something I would do. Yeah. So now I've got a reciprocal, not just friendship, but a business relationship with someone. And I think that reciprocity is really, it's not all about what you get out of your people. It's what do you get out of them that you're willing to do for them. And it's really nice to let them in and do that for you.
How do you find inspiration from like even a creative way, business, all that kind of stuff? Like is it travel?
Yeah, travel opens up my creativity in general. My brother's really good at knowing what's cool. Like he's cool. He's the cool sibling.
Stylish.
He's really stylish. He just knows what's like cool that other people don't know is cool. Like him and Harrison talking today about, I was just like, I'm so like, I had no clue about this stuff. So he would be better at getting inspiration from probably physical things. I'm the more woo-woo one where my inspiration comes from my imagination. So I could sit on my bed for hours and just daydream about what I want in the future. And then once I have that vision, I'm like, fuck this, I'm not sitting on my bed for 4 hours doing this again. I'm going to make it happen. And then I just have that vision in my head and I just go for it. So it's not so much, travel gives you the opportunity for me to be, more creative or have that imagination. But once I see something in my head, I go for it. And once someone tells me I can't have it, I'm like, fuck you, I'm going to do it.
Is that what motivated you to start your new business, My Business Checklist?
No, that was different. No one told me I couldn't do that. My Business Checklist came around, which is like I created little
education series.
I remember you telling me you were doing something, like
online videos,
tutorials
for how to set up an online business. And it's all based on everything I learned through trial and error. And it was something I wish I had when I first started. So you only know what you know, right? There's only so much you can Google to get a response back. So if you don't know what you're Googling or what you're searching for, there's only so many things that search engine can give you that can support you. So over the years, I've used so many different platforms, what's worked, what hasn't. So I started making these tutorials where this is the platform I use. These are the buttons I had to figure out how to press because I didn't know how to transfer a domain onto my website. I didn't know, well, I always knew because I was a lawyer, the difference between an ABN and a business name and how to register both. Some people don't know that. And I'm like, that is fundamental. Like everyone should know how to do that. And you don't need to pay someone by the hour to do it for you. It's literally like an ABN is free, first of all, and then your business name is $79 for 3 years or $70 for 1 year and $99 for 3 years. Do it yourself. And there's so many scams going around, people trying to take a cut for registering it for you and stuff. It's just awful what's going on. So I was like, I'm going to make little tutorials to show people what buttons to press, how to do it, how to set up a website, how to run an email marketing campaign. I've done it using so many platforms. This is the one I like using. This is what's worked for me. And it just came from a place of I wanted to help people. It had nothing to do with someone saying, oh, Talla can't do this. I'm like spitefully going for it.
It's things you wish you knew or
it
had
was just
to help.
Things I wish I knew. And then so many of my friends who have businesses are like, oh, hey, Talla, how do I, do a welcome flow? I'm like, oh, we'll do this, this, and this. They're like, oh, you're just so good at it. I don't know if I can do it. And I'm like, instead of sitting down with everyone one by one, why don't I just do a tutorial, go at your own pace, rewatch it as many times as you personally need without feeling like you're wasting my time. I just created it to help people.
If someone was all listening to this and they want to start their own online business, what would you say would be the first 3 things to do? I always think of this.
Question.
Oh, legal cap is on.
Yeah.
Mine would be very different. One of mine would always be set up that's yours, would be set up a pixel.
Oh, you have nothing to set up yet.
No, but mine would be like as soon as you have everything up, set up a pixel.
But you need to have things set up, right?
Yeah.
So the pixel is literally like step 9 of my whole business
So what's your
checklist.
top 3?
That's what I said.
I'm just saying trademark because we got screwed over in China once from trademark.
Okay, China's trademark is very interesting because they also do a thing called should I say this? There's like product ransom where they hold your products for ransom.
That's exactly what we went through.
Yeah,
we know.
What was it, $90,000 US?
Yeah, product ransom is because it's so easy to file a trademark in China. Even if they're not approved, you just want to be the first one on the list. That's all it is. And
there's companies. Moral of the story: if you're manufacturing in a certain country, make sure you trademark China.
There.
Yeah. Yep.
If you're doing business in any country, say like how we are exporting to the US and things like that, you trademark there.
So what would your top 3
before you even go to that? So top 3 would be you do a business name search.
Yep.
Just a very easy one. It's on ASIC Connect. It's not even the ASIC website. It's a website called ASIC Connect. put in your business names that you're thinking about and see what if it's available. What's the point of creating this beautiful website and everything if the name's not bloody there? It's going to put a spanner in the works. It's going to change your logo. Don't even design a logo until you know that the business name you want is available. So that would be number one. Number two would be searching trademarks. You don't need to register one. You need to see if somebody else has a trademark.
With that name.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or with that name in that industry.
Category.
So, for instance, it might be
Tally Lou Class 25.
Yeah, Class 25, which is
but people watching
I've PTSD.
So it could be Tally Lou for activewear, right?
Yeah.
But someone else might have a Tally Lou cakes.
Yes.
And you need to figure out if, is that competition enough? Am I okay with this? Am I not okay with this? Like you need to make a business call at that level. So my next thing would be, we are so lucky in Australia, unlike America, our trademarks are so easy to search.
Yeah.
It is so easy. Just do it so you know what you're working with. And then my third would be, see if your domain is available. Just because your business name is available, just because you have no trademarks that are competition for you or you on them, because they can shut you down. If you impede on someone's trademarks, they'll be like, nah, this is mine, fuck off.
Yeah.
So if you're still okay with that, that doesn't mean somebody else hasn't just registered the domain just because they can. Check the domain. Otherwise, you have no pixel to upload to the website because your website can't exist.
Yeah.
So those would be my top three, but that's so legal. Like, do you know what I mean? That's like the
But it's important because if you're
nightmare.
not going to get in trouble down the track or get into exactly what you said, you've gone too far down and have not done those 3 steps, you're screwed.
Tally and I have had many business ideas over the 15 years. Remember we bought the domain Boxed Water?
I still have it, I think.
I think it's great, but then
Yep.
canned water came in and fucking
I know.
changed it.
Well,
it was
this is
so
like
good.
Boxed water,
years
it was
ago.
BOXD, not even
Water.
an E, water, when we went to LA and like bottled water was everywhere.
Yeah.
Box water would have been great.
I know.
I mean,
we
it's
have
still
these
great.
great ideas.
And we just register it and then don't do anything
But
about
it's like the person who started the canned water. They're like, why the fuck would anyone buy that?
You're just going to make it cool, right? That's where your
Love
branding
can-
comes
it.
in.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's nothing you can't market.
Yeah.
If there's one thing I can say to anyone is I don't care what product you sell. If you market it well, you can sell anything.
How do they market it well? I can just see people and all listening. They're like, yeah, but tell me, like, I've got a brand, I've got a product. It's not selling at the moment. How do I market it well?
It comes back down to your values. What benefit is it giving the consumer?
The
Because
value.
what value is it giving? So every time you put out a piece of content, I'd say paid advertising, what is the customer getting at? Why should they give a shit about you? If you market it well, the people who are in the market for your product will find you.
Yeah, absolutely. You search a rug and then all the ads come up. Yeah.
So the algorithm's already working in the background to help you find what you need. So you need to have the ads that when that person is in the market for your product, they're like, hey, that's the boxed water I want to get. That's the water I want to buy. This is a cool brand. This is what I'm going to get out of it. It's sustainable. It's recyclable. It's better for my health. There's no plastics, microplastics going into my system. I got all of that information from this really cute, aesthetically pleasing ad. That's the brand I'm going for.
Yeah.
Fuck the cans. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just how you put it towards them.
So true. No, if anyone is listening and they are curious about business, which this is the mini business series, and there is one piece of advice you give them to start, what would your piece of advice be?
I was going to ask a similar question then.
Oh,
Mine was going to be, what do people not talk enough about in business?
We can add to mine and then end with Sarah's.
Okay. Going to Tally's first. It's going to be contradictory to everything else I've said today because everything I've said is quite technical. Just fucking start.
Yeah.
The best piece of advice I had, which suited my personality a lot, was you don't have to be perfect to start because your perfect is always going to change as well. As you grow, your idea of perfect changes. So don't strive for perfection before starting because you're just going to miss the boat. Just start and know that you can fix and implement and perfect on your way, and that timeline's going to change. So my thing would just be, if you have a cool idea, if you're starting off, you're a little bit timid, just go for it. You'll learn on the job.
You'll learn on the job.
But you will.
Yeah, no, it's so true.
It's like
so
anything,
true.
right? Like you have to practice before you get good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's being comfortable with practicing and stuffing
But you
up.
can't practice in an artificial or a mock-up world before you go into the real world.
No, you got to do it. You got to throw yourself in the deep end.
But it's not even deep end. There is nothing that can prepare you for it. There is nothing that prepares you from the first client complaint that you get that breaks your freaking heart. There's nothing like the first ship getting delayed and you don't have stock for 3 months. What do I do? Waiting water. Okay, I've only got 100 rugs that I can sell. How do I make them look appealing? Because I still think they're good, but it's not the right size people want. What can I do? You brainstorm that. Like, there's nothing that teaches you more than just real life things that are unexpected. If you're only practicing and trying to figure out how can I get ready for the real world by coming up with mock examples in your head, there's shit that you will not see coming that will just smack you in the face. And how you wade through that water in that moment is what teaches you to be a better business person. So you just have to start without striving for perfection. And like I said, that perfection changes. Like me 6 years ago when I first started, my idea of perfect was very different to my idea of perfect now. And it's going to be different again in 5 years' time from now. So just start.
Like that.
But what don't people talk about enough?
When it comes to business.
I genuinely think, and this is something I was looking at today, truly understanding what you're looking at.
Yeah.
Like, a common misconception is all these ad agencies and marketing agencies being like, we'll get you 8 times ROAS, blah, blah, blah. Okay, cool. Crunch it down. What does 8 times my cost of goods look like? Once I take out your fee retainer, how much money am I left with? Oh, $800. Don't give a fuck if it's 8 times ROAS. Know what you're looking at.
Can get very easy sucked into stuff like that. Yeah.
But I did too.
Oh my God. Remember the retainers we used to spend in America?
Absolutely. No, and it is. It's like understanding the data, exactly what you were saying before, understanding the data, the numbers.
And it's not the fun stuff.
No, it's not.
It's not the fun stuff.
At the end of the day,
but
why do we want to run a business?
Yeah.
To be profitable.
But I'm sorry, I'm going to finish on this, but what you were saying before, it's not the fun stuff, but it does help you drive and have more of a vision.
But this is the thing I have very quickly. One gripe that I have with everyone who runs a business is you do not run a business if you've delegated absolutely fucking everything. You're not a business owner, sweetheart. If you don't know, if everyone quit tomorrow and your whole thing becomes a sinking ship, that's not a business. If you have the luxury to delegate everything and have people on board when you first start, that's awesome. Good for you. I didn't. Take it. You don't have to struggle just because I did. But pick everyone's brain. Go through, sit with each team that's doing stuff for you. Learn how to be a seat at that table. Learn from them, because one day you won't have them and you have to pick up the pieces. That to me is a business owner.
We have an analogy in this business. It's do you know what it is? You need to know how to take the bins out.
Need to know how to take the bins out. And if you have the luxury of having someone taking the bins out for you from day dot because you've got heaps of capital invested, awesome. Ask the bin man how he does it though.
Yeah. Very true.
Because that becomes a business-minded person.
Yeah.
And whether this business does well or you start up another one, you always know what to do from that point onwards.
Yeah, absolutely.
And no one can pull the covers over your head. If someone's trying to pull your tail and be like, oh, I'll get you 8 times ROAS, but the numbers don't stack up, you're like, hey, let's improve. If we don't improve, there's the door. Yeah. I'm running a business.
Yeah. Bye.
Gotta grow and thrive.
Yeah.
Grow and thrive.
On that note, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
I'm going to finish it how I finish with Tally all the time. Love you.
Love you too. It's not as hard for me to say back. Sorry.
Tally's rolling her
Tally.
eyes. Love you. Thank you so much.
No, thank you for having me, girls. Really happy. Thank you.